Hi everyone. Welcome to this IG Live. We're going to be talking about joining a trip for the first time. I want people to join us. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the sun wherever you are.
There we go.
There you go. There's Annilea and Lucy to join us. Thank you. Good to see you both. And we're just waiting for James to join us as well. How are you both doing? You well?
Good. I'm good.
Work, to be honest.
Annilea, I think let's talk about a dinosaur outfit at one point, so I'm glad you've managed to find something else.
Next time.
We'll find an excuse for next time. There's just people coming here, people waving. Lovely to see you. Everyone wave back. Good to see you all. Good to be seen by you all. Ashton saying hello. I'm not going to keep up with the chat if it's going that fast, but hi to everyone there. And there'll be chances for questions as we go through. I'll ask some questions to get the chat going. But if anything pops up at the bottom, I'll make a little note of it and ask the room to make sure we're all being listened to and having our questions answered. Just seeing if James is going to pop along anytime soon. But I'll give him a few moments just to get settled after a request if you can join. So I'll do that. Annilea, do you want to say who you are for a moment?
So my name's Annilea Etheridge. I'm one of the volunteers for the Trust. So I think my title is crew leader. And I've been volunteering for the Trust for about, I think it's been about 7-8 years now.
Nice. And you're coming along on what trips this year?
I'm doing Round the Islands, which is, it's only in a couple of weeks. It's come around really quick. And I'm also doing one of the canal boat trips in September, which I think is somewhere in Essex. Well, that's where I'm going to head anyway.
Let's hope so. If you think it's there, then let's hope so. And Lucy, can you say who you are, please?
Well, I'm Lucy. I'm a young person that has currently been on 2 trips with the Trust and going on my 3rd trip in July, and that'll be to Scotland. Thanks. Yeah.
James coming in now. There you are, James.
Hello, everyone. Sorry I'm late.
That's fine. You are the ops manager in the north, so actually we run to your schedule. We were early. Good to see you. So Annilea and Lucy have just said who they are. James, can you give a quick 1-2 lines of who you are, please?
Absolutely. So I'm the operations manager in the north. So I'm based in the Largs office with Scott.
Perfect. So hi, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. If you're here to talk about coming on a Trust trip for the first time this year, thanks for joining us. If you're just here to hang out and hear what a trip's like, you're very welcome to. So if you've been following our social media, you'll know we're super excited about this year's season kicking off and getting #all on board this year. Trips looked a little different last year. Their capacity was reduced. Taste of the Trust was a 1-day trip instead of a 4-day trip. But this year, things look pretty close to how they looked in 2019. It's been 3 years since our summer looked this big and this busy, and that means 3 years since so many young people came along and spent time with the Trust. So for those of you coming along for the first time this year, let me first of all say we can't wait to see you. You might be able to tell, like James said, I work at the Trust Largs base in Scotland, so you might be coming up here, or you might be going to Cowes at Isle of Wight. Either way, you'll have an amazing time. But it's also pretty normal to feel quite anxious, whether that's because it's your first time doing something like this since your diagnosis. Maybe you're stepping out of a comfort zone. Maybe it's just the sailing itself. But for a lot of people, just getting onto the bus to come to the trip is itself a massive step. So if you are nervous, you're not the only one. And hopefully what you're about to hear helps ease a bit of those nerves. It'll let you know what to expect. As we go through, please do put questions in the chat. We'll get them answered. I'll hopefully try to keep up with them. And yeah, with me here, James, Lucy, Annilea. James is the ops manager in Largs, which means he's in charge of all the trips that take place in the northern half of the UK. When it comes to how trips are running, what trips look like, what you need to know and what to expect, he's your guy. Lucy is someone who's been coming on Trust trips since 2019. She sailed with us in the Isle of Wight 3 years ago, came back in 2021, and you're sailing again this summer up in Largs.
Yeah, woo woo.
So she's been where you are, and since she's returned since, we hope that's a good sign and that the
Yes.
nerves were excellent.
Yeah.
Good.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign.
And Annilea is one of our amazing volunteers who make up the crews you go on trips with and do all sorts of incredible things like travelling with you from pickup points. And so I'm really happy she's with us to show off just how lovely the people you'll be with are and that you're in very capable hands. So I'm going to ask the gang some questions, let them talk through things that we think you should know. But please ask questions in the chat and we'll make sure they're answered as we go. So James, someone's coming on a trip for the first time this year. Say it's a month from now. When are they going to hear from us? And what are they going to be told when they do hear from us?
Brilliant, thanks, Scott. So a month, I mean, that's exciting, going on your first trust trip in a month. There's going to be a couple of things you hear from us. You'll hopefully have already heard from us. You'll hopefully have already had that trip confirmed by one of the lovely team. And as you get a little bit closer, you can expect a little bit more information about that trip. So you should be expecting a trip information email, which tells you a little bit more about the specifics of that trip, where you're traveling from, who's going to be your volunteer when you meet them, what time you'll get there, what to bring along. So a little bit more specific information about that trip. We'll have some posts for you as well coming. Very excitingly, there'll be a COVID lateral flow test on its way to you. And in there's hopefully not just be a lateral flow test, there's something nice as well to maybe stick on your fridge and remind you a little keepsake from the trust to build a bit of excitement for your first trip. But also in there, it will tell you all about how to do the test and what to do with the test results when you've done it, who to send it to, which is really important coming on the trip. And then as we get right the way up to the week before the trip, or maybe just a little bit more than the week before the trip, one of the lovely team in whichever base you're coming to will give you a little pre-trip call, and that is a really nice call to be able to check some of the details, check you're all happy with everything. If you've got any last minute questions, that's the time for it. There is no such thing as a silly question. And the team will check through your medical information, make sure nothing's changed, or if it has, we can update it. They'll make sure you know where you go and your travel, and make sure you've got your test kit and it's not gone missing in the post. And yeah, answer any last minute questions you have. And then the next time you hear from us will be as we welcome you in either the COWS office or the LARGS office on your trip with smiley faces.
And who doesn't like getting post in the mail? Who doesn't like getting post? So obviously there's a bit of travelling involved, like you say, to get to the location of the trip, and then you're there for 3 nights. You're there Monday to Thursday, usually. What essentials should people bring for the bus and for the trip?
So I think for the bus, your essentials is probably a bit of a packed lunch. Depending on where you're coming from, it might be a couple of hours. You might be lucky and be really close to one of the bases. It's not too long. Depending on your taste, maybe a bit of music or a book for the bus as well. If it's a bit of a journey. Hopefully you'll be chatting to some of the other lovely people on trip and the volunteer, but just in case. I'd say for the trip itself, the essential I'd highlight is a pillow and a sleeping bag. I mean, I'm of a certain age now where if I need a pillow. So make sure you bring that. If you forget, don't panic, don't worry. We can help you out. We've got some stuff, but it's always a good thing to try and bring that. Other than that, I mean, not as much as you think. The boats have got quite a lot of stuff. They've got all the we call it the galley, so I'm slipping into boat mode. We've got the kitchen, all the stuff for cooking, your food cutlery, etc. You just need to bring some clothes, really, and again, not too much. Your normal essentials for 4 days, 3 nights. Maybe a warm fleece if it's cooler. Don't need to worry about any wet weather gear, any waterproofs, because we'll provide those just in case it does rain. You'll get a little I say goodie bag. Goodie bag makes it sound like a children's party. You get a nice little bag with some bits and bobs that will help look after you for the week. So there's a bit of pair of sunglasses in there. So you don't necessarily need to bring that if you haven't got it. But of course, if you've got a pair that you're fond of, bring that along. And yeah, I don't think there's too much else really that's essential. You might want to bring again a little book if you think you'll have time to do that. But hopefully you'll be too busy chatting to the rest of the gang on the crew and having fun and sailing that you might not get time.
Like James said in the first answer, there will be a phone call where you can ask any questions you have, but feel free as well to ask some questions in the chat if you want to ask them tonight. But either way, you'll have an opportunity to have those questions answered. So, James, if someone's wondering what does a 4-day trip at the Ellen MacArthur Cancer Trust look like, can you tell us briefly what to expect?
I can. I mean, the first thing I say is it looks exciting. I think I'd be excited if I was coming on a first time trip. So it is 4 days and 3 nights on one of our trust yachts, and that's a 45, 50-foot yacht that we'll share with the crew and the volunteers, and there'll be anywhere between sort of 3 and 5 of these go out on a little flotilla, so sailing together. The first night you won't go too far, and I think normally a fish and chips, and then the first proper day, normally the Tuesday, is where you'll look to go to a local port. It's about 10 miles away, so it's a couple of hours sailing. It's not a huge amount of time. So, you know, if you're really not enjoying the sailing, that's okay, because there's still plenty of other things that's hope you can really enjoy that day. So travelling down to either Yarmouth in the south or Port Ballantine in Largs, and get there and hopefully have some fun, get there a bit of time for games, go up and have a little walk around, see they're both lovely places, see a bit of the local culture. And then that evening have dinner with your crew, and then, you know, time to chat, you know, break out the Uno. I'd be disappointed if the Uno wasn't out by that point, to be honest. It should have been out a few times. And then just have a laugh, really. Second day, coming back towards the base you started from, but not directly, hopefully going to see some of the sites on the way. So it might be there's a little island you can pop around, or a little bay you can anchor in for lunch, or there's something cool to see. Or actually, maybe you just dig in the sailing and your crew just want to just spend the day sailing along, and that's totally cool. And then heading back towards the base started from, where you'll enjoy a lovely barbecue in the sun. We do try and book the sun where possible. Again, it's just a chance to chill out and relax and chat with hopefully all the new friends on the trust that you've made, and other people that have been through similar experiences, and get to know the crew a bit more. You know, it might have had time for a water fight on the way, a bit of a trust tradition, one of my favourite times of the trip. And then, yeah, having that last night, either in or around the base, so Largs or Cowes, where it's really nice to, you know, chill out, have a final game, just even if it's just sat on the front of the boat enjoying watching the sunset go down, just a really nice time. And then to that final day, just making sure we've got everything ready to go, getting the boat, helping clear the boat away, not too long, having a big gathering with the rest of the guys on the trip, and all sort of saying a little bit about how you found the trip, exchanging numbers with anyone you've not managed to, following people on Facebook, all that stuff, and hearing a little bit from us about what's next. You know, being invited to hopefully return trips and how you keep involved, and, you know, if you were interested in volunteering, a little bit from us before getting back on the buses or your travel and traveling back to your pickup point.
Yeah, like James said there, if you enjoy your trip, you can go again and again. So hopefully we'll get to that point. But before that, a nice little segue over to Lucy here, who's coming on our third trip this summer. Lucy, hopefully what James has just said sounds familiar. If not, please feel free to correct him.
No, it does. It does.
Perfect. How were you feeling on, say, the week leading up to your first trip? Were there any nerves at all?
Oh, 100%. I'm naturally like a shy person anyway, but I was really nervous. I never go out of my comfort zone and do new things, so this was a whole like personal challenge for me. So leading up, I was really nervous because none of my friends have been through the same thing that I've been through. So essentially it was that nervous, but then that excitement as well, meeting people who've been through a similar experience, which was so rewarding. And it just felt like you had a sense of belonging when you actually, even at the train station when we got the train, you just felt so comfortable, like you knew the people that were there already because you share that similar experience.
So you've enjoyed your time with the trust, which is great. Long may that continue.
Loved it.
What were the kind of things that once you arrived that helped you relax into that trip? What was it that made you feel more comfortable, that made you feel like, oh, this is all okay, I don't need to worry? What were those things?
I definitely think it was like you guys, like the volunteers, and even like the safety element of it, knowing that you have trained medics and people who are in charge of boats, knowing what they're doing. You always have that at the back of your mind, but knowing that they're there always helps you feel at ease, that you know you're always safe. And it's just being amongst similar people as well just puts you at ease, and knowing you've got things to look forward to and try new things, which really did essentially just help put you at ease even when you're there. It's
It's like kind
okay.
of you're all doing things together, isn't it? We're just like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like
it's doing
a
one
big
thing.
group.
Yeah. So I think it'd also just be nice to hear what it is, that keeps you coming back. What is it that people should be looking forward to, that you look forward to every year?
Well, I think it's definitely helped me as a person just coming on the trip. I've been able to become more confident in who I am and independent in the choices that I make, because sharing my story with people who've been through a similar experience, it's made me realize that I should be proud of what I've been through. And then essentially it's made me who I am. And I keep coming back on the trips because I know I'm going to meet new people and listen to their stories and share my story with them and be there as like a support system. And also just being on the water is amazing as well, being on the Solent. And then me, I'm looking forward to going to Scotland and seeing like the coast as well. So just being on the water essentially as well is just, it's I'm going to say it, it's magical. There we go.
Have we had the same boat yet? I don't know if we had that yet. So, we're due one. Um, Annilea, you're one of the Trust's fantastic community of volunteers. It's you who's out there on the trips, on the boats. What can someone coming along for the first time expect from their volunteers and skipper? What is the vibe typically like?
There is, and like Lucy just said, there is something really, really magic about these trips. There's just something really special about the boats that, I'd never experienced before. I'd never been sailing before I came on a trust trip, even as a volunteer, really. And I think just kind of, it's that immediate sense of kind of family and being a team and all working together from the first moment that you'll meet us on the bus. So I think for all of James, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think for all of the first time trips there'll still be a hospital volunteer that comes with you from the hospital to either Cowes or Largs. So you'll have that contact there and you'll have kind of a friendly face. You might not be on the same boat as them when you get there, but they'll be around. And I think there is just this amazing sense of just community, I think. And there is something really special about the way we all kind of gel together and everybody's there for a nice time. And, it's all kind of quite buzzy, I think. I think that's a nice way to describe it. It's just exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's really special, isn't it,
Yeah,
Lucy?
no, it is. It is. It's so special.
Annilea, some people who come along are wheelchair users, some use prosthetics, some are visually impaired, some feel fatigue. Can you just reassure everyone that the crews know these things and it's not something to worry about?
Yeah, no, it's definitely not something to worry about because there's lots of these things that you would have told the team before your trip. So all the forms and phone calls and everything that James has talked about and all the contact that you've had with your hospital contacts, all that we have all of that information before you come. So it's not kind of a surprise for us either. So there's lots that we'll plan for you guys before you come on the trips. And I think we're quite aware as well that not all of these disabilities are things that we can see. So even during the trip, if you're finding something a little bit hard or something that you want to do more of, you just let us know. And I think it's just really important to open that communication up and just have a chat with us. So either have a chat with somebody from the trust team before your trip, or even once you're there, and if there's something that you've not told us and you think, oh, I should have mentioned that, just come and speak to one of us. So there's plenty of us around. So yeah, and we've all had experience of the trips, and the skippers are incredibly experienced, and all of the mates. And like Lucy said, there'll be a medical tour around as well. So there's loads of support from us. So yeah, we're there to keep you safe, but we're also there to have a really, really nice time with you. For completely selfish reasons, I come on this trip. I don't laugh as much as I do on these trips my whole year. So
Honestly.
yeah.
And you've been around people on their first time trip on that first day where everyone's a little bit quiet, a little bit shy. What would you say to someone who's watching right now and is feeling a little bit anxious? Will it all be okay?
Yes, it will be all okay. And like Lucy said, I think it's really normal to feel anxious, but at the same time, it's almost like an excited energy, and you kind of need to kind of feed off that as well. So, but just just don't worry about it. It's really difficult, isn't it? We've all spent the last couple of years all locked away, and I think this is a bit of a more of a different year than usual for these trips. So I think it is quite natural that everybody's feeling a little bit anxious, and I think we do as volunteers as well, for different reasons as well, because we've never met anybody before. Like, you know, how's this all going to work? But then as soon as we get together, I promise you, you will just have the time of your life. And then you'll just want to come back year after year, won't you, Lucy?
Yes, you do.
Can I just say, I haven't met Lucy before today, but like seeing Lucy speak and talk about her experiences just makes me so proud.
Oh, it's honestly, it's changed who I am because of the trust, and I've made so many amazing friends that I always keep in contact now, and I couldn't be more grateful for the whole trust and the experience I've had.
We can't wait.
I'm gonna have a cry and everything.
Lucy told us what she's looking forward to. You've got some love in the comments as well from Bonnie down there.
That's my sister, sorry.
That's some good rep.
Thanks, Bonnie.
Lucy told us what she's looking forward to. Annilea, James, what are you looking forward to this summer as well?
Oh, I'm looking forward to getting on the water again. Although I did some travel volunteering last year, but I didn't actually get to go on a trip because the race got cancelled because of the weather. So I'm just really, really excited to be on the water again. Oh yeah, and obviously, you know, Uno. I'm very excited about Uno. I'm very excited about fajitas because fajitas taste the best when they're on the boat. I really hope that it's on the boat menu this year. But I'm just looking forward to seeing everything in person as well.
I promise Uno don't sponsor us. James, go ahead.
Unlike, you know, I don't get to go out on the water much these days. So I am really looking forward to sort of being at my desk working away. But hearing that giggles in the background, you can hear the you know, young people going by, having a good time, and that, you know, that really sort of sends the hairs up on the back of my neck. I'm looking forward to being involved in all the sort of trip roundups and hearing all the clearly boat jokes that I don't really get, but obviously I can tell the fun that's been had. And I'm looking forward to, you know, looking out of the office window, getting the binoculars out and seeing a water fight in progress, and just sitting back and enjoying the spectacle.
Thanks for the support, Bernardine, and also Athena and Bonnie. We'll make sure that Lucy gets to cook something on the trip up in Largs this year, and we'll let you know how it goes. So if there's not fajitas happening, now there's going to be fajitas happening. So I'm going to come to the end of this now. If there's any questions, please quickly throw them into the chat. But as James said earlier on, you will get a phone call on ahead of your first time trip in the week leading up to that trip itself. So if there's any questions you do have, please ask them in. Is that right, James? In the week before?
Yeah, sometimes it's in the 2 weeks before, but generally it's the week before.
And even if then it doesn't get answered, you can still get in touch with us. As Annilea says, we can adapt. It can happen on the day, happen during the trip. We will make sure that everything's all good and all okay for you. But if that's us, then please go enjoy your sunny evening. Anything about travel from Northern Ireland, James?
Yeah, so travel from Northern Ireland, it does differ depending on the trip you are, but normally it's a flight out from Belfast, and normally either the hospital contact or one of our lovely volunteers from Northern Ireland helps us out and travels over with you. You fly into Glasgow, and it would then be a taxi minibus from Glasgow Airport to Largs, which is about 35 minutes, so it's not too far.
And when will people receive that travel information if it's anywhere else they are?
So depending on the trip you're on and where that is in the year, we're going out with that travel information now. So the further you are away towards the end of the year, you won't get that immediately as we work through people from sort of the trips in June and July first.
Perfect. Thanks for asking that question. But yeah, I think that's us. All good. We can't wait to see you on your first time trips. If you're coming back on a return trip, can't wait to see you then either. Please go enjoy your sunny evening. Enjoy your Jubilee Bank holiday. We can't wait to see you. And thank you, Annilea, Lucy, James, for joining us. As always, was there anything you want to ask? Yeah, please. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.